Welcome back, friends and neighbors. Hey, everybody. You know my first guest tonight from Cheers, True Detective, No Country for Old Men, and so much more. He now stars in Last Breath. Please welcome back to The Late Show, Woody Harrelson. Good aim. Hey, nice to see you again. You know what I really enjoyed? I was at the SNL 50th on Sunday night. I enjoyed seeing you up on stage there. You seem to be having a really good time.
Thank you. Yeah,
up there
that
with
was
Meryl
great.
Streep making her SNL debut up there.
Yeah.
You and Meryl, very similar.
Very similar.
Did you have a good time?
Yeah, it was really, really fun, I gotta say.
Was it hard to keep a straight face when Kate McKinnon had her skull all up in your junk there? Was that planned, or did that just sort of come about?
Luckily, it just happened spontaneously.
The sketch was about alien abduction. I'm just curious, do you believe in aliens?
Yeah, I mean, I'm
Have you had an experience with any of that?
Have I had an alien experience?
It's a simple question, Woody. Have you had an alien experience?
You're really asking me if I had an alien experience?
Yes, I'm asking you, I'm not saying have you been abducted, but have you seen if you have been abducted, that would be a great time to tell me. But like, have you like seen a UFO? Have you like had it? Because I've seen stuff I can't explain.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, then I'll admit I have.
All right, let's hear it.
I wasn't abducted.
No, but what did you see?
Well, maybe I was abducted and forgot or something.
Exactly.
No, what I saw was, I think it was around 74, and I was living in Ohio. 50 years ago.
Okay.
And I was living in Ohio, and suddenly I noticed like everybody's out in the street. And so I went out, and we look up, it was nighttime, and there were these lights that were just like kind of blinking, and then it would just shoot all the way across the sky, right? And then there'd be one over there, shoot over here, and there were several. They just kept going across the sky, and everybody, we watched it for a while. It took a few minutes, and then finally just went somewhere else, some other world, and nobody talked about it. Like literally, everybody just went inside and said nothing. It was so freaky.
Wow.
Even for me, as young as I was. Of course it's true.
Why wouldn't it be true? I want it to be true. I want there to be someone who, I want there to be life out there that we don't know about, even if it's time travelers, from the future. Everybody coming back to try to help us, maybe. We could use a little help.
We could use a little help. We could use a lot of help, actually.
Yeah. You recently spoke at an event honoring the Grateful Dead. Here you are with Bob Weir. There you go. Who I gotta say, looks a little bit like a time traveler there. Yes. And you go beyond a deadhead. You think of yourself as like an honorary member.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Sure, why not? What you have a favorite memory of hanging with the band?
The first time I went and hung out with those guys was a guy who was a carpenter doing some carpentry work for me. He said, "Do you know the Dead?" And I'm like, "Not really." And he goes, "Oh my God." So took me up to this show up in Northern California, and I was we imbibed some fun guy, and we're like hanging out, and then I'm like, oh, I realize. Anyway, we go back to talk to
the guys,
everybody back
fellas
there, and before you know it, I'm meeting the Dead, and we chat for a minute, and then they're like, we got to get out there. And they're like, well, what should we do? Oh, let's start with Tennessee Jet. And, oh, what's the chords? Oh, well, that's an F, A, da-da-da. And they're like, okay, got it. And then what do we do after that? Well, we do what we always do, make it up. I saw this happen.
Wow.
I'm like, they go out, but Jerry stays, and Jerry's like, hey, you ever think about the fact that the universe is expanding? No, I mean, I hadn't really thought about that. And we're
Wow.
talking, and his guy Steve, his right-hand man, is like, "Get out there!" You know?
Wow,
He's
you're
like,
distracting Jerry.
He says, and anyway, if the universe is expanding, isn't time expanding too? And the guy's like, "Get out there!" And then he keeps talking, and finally he's like, "Get out!" Screams at him. And he says, "I gotta go." and he heads on stage. And anyway, Bruce Hornsby is who I knew in the band. Anyway, so I'm talking to Bruce Hornsby side stage while they're doing the space section, and we're talking. It was back Bush War I, so we're both upset about
90,
the way
91,
things are going.
91,
around
so
then.
yeah.
And so he goes and sits up on the back of his chair. He's kind of upset about it. And then I'm like, "Oh, I sit on the back of my chair." And suddenly this wild, discordant cacophony of crazy notes just... Well, I think to myself, kind of genius, But then I notice, and granted, things are kicking in. And I look and I see like Jerry's looking back at me, and Phil and Bobby, and they're looking back directly at me. Like if it was your dream, you'd be like, "Whoa." And in life, I was like, "Whoa." And then suddenly, I see these roadies running toward me, And Bruce goes, "Woody, you're sitting on a live MIDI," which is a keyboard. You're sat on a live MIDI.
You're doing an ass solo.
Yeah. And so anyway, that was my first experience with them. I jammed with the Dead.
Wow. Good for you. Congratulations. That's fantastic. Last time you were here, you were telling me about your dispensary, The Woods.
Yeah.
And that it was, it's fine. There are a lot of dispensaries out there, but you got something special in yours, which is the Ganja Giggle Garden.
That's right.
I remember.
Wow.
Shit, man, you don't talk to Woody Harrelson every day? And how's the Giggle Garden going?
The Giggle Garden's going.
Right.
It's the
giggles
most
go on?
beautiful dispensary in the world. And
If you could get anyone, living or dead, into the Giggle Garden with you, who would it be?
living or dead?
Living or dead, into the Giggle Garden with you.
Bob Marley?
Wow. Would you go, let me ask you something.
That's a
Woody
no-brainer.
Harrelson. Woody Harrelson. And I want you to examine your conscience before you answer this question. Could you go toke for toke with Bob Marley?
I don't think so.
Good man, you're an honest man.
Yeah, I used to hang out with his mom a lot, Mother B, and she...
Who don't you know? Who don't you know?
There's no one I don't know.
All right.
But I used to hang out with Mother B, and I couldn't go toe-to-toe with her, or toke-to-toke.
Yeah, sure.
She was serious.
We have to take a quick break. We'll be right back with more Woody Harrelson, everybody. Stick around.